final rounds of the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series are in sight here for the 2007 season. The teams are rising to the top. Everything has been meticulously prepared as they make a run for the championship. People will stand on their feet to watch the most exciting form of motorsports on the planet. And these guys will deliver. Pro Light, Pro 2, and Pro 4. It's all on the line, and it's all coming next, right here on Speed. Hello and welcome to Chula Vista, California. We're just south of San Diego for another exciting round of the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series. I'm Ken Stout. Cameron Steele joins me here in the booth, and we're going to bring you a spectacular round here, courtesy of the Pro 2 division at a place they call the Quarry. Talk about a racetrack that can handle the horsepower.
You gotta love it. 800 horsepower, two-wheel drive truck, slideways, airborne, huge elevation changes. What up? I'm ready to watch this race.
This will be good. And speaking of horsepower, Rob McCachran certainly flexed his muscles the last time out. He came out and dominated all weekend.
Well, he should be handing out textbooks because he taught everybody a lesson. He raced 4 races, including 2 super buggy races earlier in both days. Perfection. The guy's in the house, he's in his groove. They had to rip the truck apart during the break, but they found the problems, and now he is in the game.
Another guy that had the advantage of the immersion, starting on the pole, won Jeremy McGrath and took advantage of it, finished second. What a great outing.
I'm loving it, for sure. Next year I'm looking to be full-time in the Pro 2 Series or Pro 4 for that matter, and I think with a little more seat time I could be dangerous, who knows?
Well, another guy that had a great outing one time ago is Dan Vanden Heuvel, and standing with him is Kelly Stoutness.
And what a difference a season makes, especially for Dan Vanden Heuvel. After the frustrations of last year where it seemed like anything that could go wrong did, how refreshing is it to be consistently up there and running out with the top guys?
Oh, it's a blast. Again, last year, no matter what we did, who we talked to, how hard we tried, you just kept going backwards and backwards. This year, again, we're not right there in number 1, but we're always in the top 3. We're hunting, we're trying everything we can. We're taking advice from everybody else we can. Today, we're talking with Fox. We did a bunch of changes over at Kumho Tire, a bunch more group changes. I tell you, things are looking good.
Ken, he's going for that points championship. We'll see how he does this weekend in Chula Vista.
Another guy we have to talk about is the reigning Pro 2 champ. He does have 1 win under his belt this season, but that's it, along with a couple of top 5s. He's definitely had his fair share of problems this year. Can he hang on? Can he turn this thing around? Can he turn it into a three-peat? We talked to him.
It seems to happen that way every once in a while, you know. Go to hero to zero in a weekend, but you know we missed our setup a little bit at Antelope Valley and had a little bad luck, but you know that's the way it goes. Some weekends you're on and other weekends you struggle a little bit.
Antelope Valley was a little bit rough. I have to say that sitting off all that time, we made some changes in the truck, which I think were great changes. I think that I wasn't driving it right. It's a learning process. For us to beat CORR Round and Rob McCachran and Jerry Welchel and Todd LeDuc, we have to be at the top of our game.
With 3 top 5s and 2 podiums. Speaking of Todd LeDuc, the battle has raged on between he and Ricky Johnson, and there's still no love lost between the two. Cheap shots, there's no shortage of them. These guys just do not like each other on the racetrack.
Oh yeah, my best friend Ricky Johnson, dude. That guy's got a problem with me, and I don't know what it is. You know, I worked my way from a 6, I made a calculated risk. Those guys all went low, and I'm like, dude, I'm going high. And it worked off. I went from 6 to 2nd, and I looked down, and here comes a big old orange truck smashing right into the side of me. I thought I was safe being up high. We ended up 6th again, but here, you know, we're going to run our best and try to get back in that points chase.
Taking a look at the points, Jerry Welchel's on top with a nice lead over Rob McCachran. Then it's Ricky Johnson, Carl Rennesetter, the reigning champ, and rounding out the top 5 is Todd LeDuc. And going back up to Jerry Welchel, while he's leading in the points, he has certainly had his fair share of troubles this season with engine issues. But this team is very resilient. They've been able to put another power plant inside of this truck, and he's taking his best shot.
If I can just get to the back of the front of 4 or 5 guys, we can bunch up after the yellow, and then I can go try to shoot for the win because the front guys are going to take off. That's the good thing about CORR Racing, and Baldwin's idea is to have that mandatory caution halfway through the race. He gets 2 races for the price of 1, and the fans love it, and I love it as a competitor, especially when I got to start in the back. When I'm starting in the front, I don't like it so much, or leading, it's not so fun, but when you're in the back, it's a lot better.
Round number 8 action of the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series is next. Stick with us. Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by KMC Wheels. Wheels like no other.
We thought it'd be cool to catch up with the number 28 driver, Alan Pfluger. He's trying to walk away from me right now, but Alan, I see there's no tribal on the truck, so a new design, but the secret here is that it's a brand new truck, and the rumor is you haven't even driven it before.
Actually, it's a brand new used truck, so we're kind of joking around about the smell of race gas and fresh paint in the morning. We've got some friends in the McMillan family that are nice enough to get us in this vehicle. We're looking to get the number 28 KMC Pro 2 truck up front this weekend.
All right, now this truck has a lineage. It was Scott Taylor's truck last year. There's been some wins put down in it. You've been a little frustrated with the truck you had, even though you were just getting it to where you want it. Then you're all, oh, something, I like this one. I want this one. How does that work out?
You know, racing's about technology and having really the latest designs that are out there that are working well. And you know, Scotty Taylor and Russ Warnemont, these guys are some of the best guys out there in designing race-winning vehicles. And this vehicle won a lot of races last year. There is a new evolution of it, but we're excited to get this truck. It's better than the previous truck we've been racing, and we're looking forward to moving up a few spots.
We'll see how it goes for Alan. There's been some crashes. There's been some good stuff. Now he's hoping for gravy. Let's get on the podium, right?
Let's go. We're
Rock
here to
and
run
roll.
it.
That's right. Shake and bake. Give me some love over here. Bam.
Good times right there. Let's take a look at how round 8 will start with our Pro Comp starting grid. Todd LeDuc finds himself on the pole after the inversion. Dan Vandenhoeven on the outside. Rob McCackern and Ricky Johnson already the top 2 rows loaded up, Cam.
They are, and I love to see the LeDuc, Ricky Johnson close by. Of course, McCackern always someone to watch out for, but the bad blood between LeDuc and Johnson has been boiling over a bit, so I look for it to happen here. Now, we're talking about turn 2 with multiple lanes. It's a tough track to pass on, but you can dive inside, but there will be contact here. Another interesting line in turn 7, 2 lanes of racing, but getting to that inside and keeping the momentum with the couple bumps they have in there will be tricky. The outside, a little more greasy, so a loss of traction is possible for sure.
We'll take a look at our starting grid as we take a look at those guys. Somebody that's having troubles here is CORR Round, who had a tough race earlier today.
The Baldwin Memorial Cup race. He definitely had a shocker, getting together with Ricky Johnson and then finding contact with the inside wall, then getting pushed out to the outside. You can see the broken front part of the suspension. That would end this session for Carl Renezetter, and he has been having troubles going back to our last round, but hopefully he can put it all back together here.
Well, it didn't look like they were working on anything to do with the suspension, so that's probably fixed. Alan Pfluger will go on board with him and talk about him having a new ride here. We'll find out how that pans out for him as we take a look at everybody else. Also, Rodrigo Ampudia is in the back of this field. Pro Light standout now in a Pro 2. Green flag flies, and up front is a Flying Dutchman.
Dan Vandenhoeven.
Oh! Right off the bat, Ricky Johnson and Todd LeDuc. That didn't take long.
Just a little bit of contact, getting one truck up on 2 wheels. You see, this is that corner 2. We talked about it being rough on the inside, a few bumps. You see Vandenhoeven working the outside, smooth around the outer edges. This is where it gets hairball. Just carrying the speed around this corner, you are setting up for a giant jump. Dropping off, it seems like for eternity.
A little deeper in the pack as we go back. A look at Jerry Welchel. Had those engine issues in qualifying, so was forced to start in the back of the pack. Rodrigo Ampudia comes by as they all head towards the ski jump. Here's the tight right-hander. Switch back right into the left-hander, and oh, man.
Jesse Jones in the Toyota tire truck just seemingly starting to get a little bit loose, and then Mark Porter helped him the rest of the way around.
Well, as you know, the first couple laps out here after they've watered the track are always kind of sketchy anyways.
They definitely are, and what's going on is you've got a hard-packed surface on the bottom, marbles on the outside, or dirt that's been torn up and thrown on the outside. You put a little water on those inside sections. There you can see there's actually some good traction on the inside, but then you can see it gets very greasy, truck sliding around.
And
it's going to be tricky.
McCackern having problems there. They just passed Todd LeDuc and then pulls off to the side after that right-hander, so he's having some issues.
And LeDuc working it there next to that K-rail or the barrier, but look at this, Welchel coming from the back as they air out the big drop-down jump. Remember, Welchel not able to get qualifying times in. He is coming all the way from the back. He talked about that mandatory yellow, Ken. Right now, Ricky Johnson playing havoc on the back bumper of Dan Vandenhoeven.
And Dan Vanden Heuvel has really shown some promise. Kelly spoke with him earlier in the show, and he's a guy that struggled a year ago, but now seems to be back on his game. If you go back 2 years ago, showed a lot of promise. So the truck has been fast. He just finally has a racing god smiling on him a little bit.
There's definitely a line that's good on this track, but as you can see, Ricky Johnson started a little farther out than Vanden Heuvel on that last corner. So now what we're going to watch from Ricky is to see what different lines he uses or where he's looking at maybe setting up Vanden Heuvel. If he wants to get by, he's going to have to get out what is Dan's favorite line. So you got to get out of the good racing groove. Here's the giant jump onto the, oh man, it's from a driver's perspective. I talked to the guys, when you come off that jump, you just see the horizon ahead of you.
Another look at Rob McCagron, who unfortunately is going to be a DNF here in this round. Come on back to CORR. Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Kumho Tires, driven beyond the expected. Welcome back to the Pro 2 battle. There's a look at Rodrigo Ampudia. How about that? And Carl Rennes that are back there battling with him for 8th place. The kid has been a spectacular driver in the Pro Light division, now taking a hand at an 800 horsepower truck.
And the interesting thing about this battle is you watch Carl and he almost getting together. Look at Carl going to the inside both times. There's some rollers there on the inside, which are going to take a little bit of Carl's speed. For Carl, Rodrigo is a bit of an unknown. Carl has not been racing against him, and also Rodrigo is not really familiar with the Pro 2 truck. So Carl's got to be a little bit careful. It's a driver he's not familiar with, and also a driver that's not really familiar with the horsepower because he's been driving the Pro Lights.
Great onboard shot, and you can really see the glare of the sun as they go off of that ski jump and head into that right-hander. Now taking a look on the inside of Rodrigo.
And we talked about it, you're gonna have to get inside. They almost come together. Carl able to make that line work, and then you see the skill of the setup going into that drifting corner, drifts it around the outside, gets to the traction where he likes it up on the berm, and throws down the power, getting away from Ampudia. And here's the jump down the big hill. I can't tell you enough times how much people have been talking about that jump. And right now, it doesn't look like it's coming into play as you see Carl trying to work the back door of Steve Serapis.
24 class wins inside of that Lucas Oil backed machine, and of course that Nissan is and he gets together with Serapis. They go over the jump and they actually make contact in the air. He managed to get stopped before he hit that wall. Man, what a scary moment.
Ooh, and
Mark Porter shoots by.
Yeah, Mark Porter gets by really close there. Now that could just be a situation, both drivers on the throttle. If you step all the way down on the throttle in this truck, you're not controlling the throttle, you can get it to step out. Like we talked about, it's greasy, it's slippery. So maybe just putting the power down, both trucks kind of moved a little bit, bam, come together. Luckily, both were able to keep it on the wheels.
Oh, and Ricky Johnson gets a little out of shape, almost tags the wall with the back of the truck, has to get it gathered up. That'll cost him a little bit of ground as he's still chasing Dan Vanden Heuvel. And it's awesome to watch these guys go to work. As we're watching Ricky Johnson right now, he takes a little different line, and he tries to keep some of that roost out of his face and still tries to maintain position. You don't want to lose too much ground, even though you're not taking the fastest line.
And we've seen him repeatedly look to the inside, and we see him following a similar line to Vanden Heuvel. But Vanden Heuvel getting all the way to the outside, using that berm, and we'll see if there's a place where Ricky can make up some ground. But right now, the thing really we got to point out is Vanden Heuvel has been driving a great race where we've seen Ricky a number of times step out. Down in turn 7, we saw him step out. We just saw him step out there. What does that mean? It means the back of the truck is moving around more. Ricky is driving the wheels off this thing, but right now Vanden Heuvel is in the groove. It looks like he's on a slot car track. He is so perfect.
And that might be something that Ricky Johnson will go back to his crew after this round and say, hey guys, we need to make some adjustments to the vehicle, try to tighten up the back, maybe something different in air pressures or shock adjustments. We'll talk more about it when we return to Championship Off-Road Racing. Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Skyjacker, the bear of suspension. And CORR Round officially broken and out of the race. Seems to be snake bit here in the last couple of rounds. This is what happened earlier.
And coming together, and it wasn't a horsepower thing getting put down, just Carl carried a ton of speed into the inside of that corner. We talked about how greasy it is. He drifted out, got together with Serapis, and then off the track there. A scary moment for everybody, but the only bad news coming out of that is that Carl is out as we are on the mandatory yellow, getting set for a restart.
And Alan Pfluger there in 4th place. That would be a career best for him in championship off-road racing if he can hang on to that position. But hey, he's only 1 spot away from the podium. I'm sure he'd love to get there.
And you know he's got to be thinking about it. But being in that top 5, this is where Alan wants to be. And you can see the beating these guys are taking inside the truck. He's got to keep it clean here. Remember, we got Van den Heuvel, Johnson, and LeDuc. And Johnson and LeDuc are not exactly best buddies. And LeDuc diving to the inside. I love it. You see him carrying that front wheel.
Oh, and he gets just a little piece of that left rear quarter right there with the Rockstar truck. One of those deals where I don't think, if the truck starts to drift up a little bit, it might make contact, he's not going to worry.
And you see him trying to use a different line, dives to the inside. You can't carry momentum there. That would have been more of a block pass situation. If he could have got inside, got in front of one of those trucks, he could have maybe filled the line and taken away, making one of these guys get on the brakes. But right now, they're not even
Oh! Into the front wall, right in the middle of the straightaway. Probably the highest speed on this racetrack, or just short of the highest speed on the racetrack. And Ricky Johnson inadvertently ends up into the wall as Dan Van den Heuvel was trying to control the truck over that rhythm section.
Yeah, it's just, the guys are doing a great job. The trucks are drifting around underneath them. Contact, that's what it's all about here at CORR. You get to hit a little bit, touch, but clean racing for the most part, going side to side is just kind of the way it happens. No hitting in the back corners. That's something you're not supposed to be doing, and the officials are watching for that. But right now, all looks clean and good.
Look at the mud all over the front of that helmet. You can see the tear-offs there. He's gone through a handful of them, but right now, the face mask itself is relatively clean, so all's good for Alan Pfluger as we go on board with him.
And it's interesting, it's keeping pretty clean right there, but what they have is those laminated tear-offs. You can reach up and pull for clear vision. Some guys run as many as 21, and we've talked about it before, so you get to have clear view, and you're gonna need it with 800 horsepower throwing the roost. And look at Ricky Johnson, just hawking Dan Van den Heuvel. Van den Heuvel backs it in and sets it up. Ricky drives it in a little bit more. Speeds so similar. Nowhere for Ricky to get a line on Van den Heuvel. He's been driving a great race. Look at him going to the inside, though, trying to take a look.
And hats off to Dan Van den Heuvel. He's not getting rattled here. A ton of pressure the entire race of RJ, who actually pulls up beside him right there, but Van den Heuvel does not falter. He doesn't overdrive the turns, and that's typically what the pressure will cause you to do.
And one thing you'll notice about Van den Heuvel, he's driving in all the good lines. For the most part, he's not really protecting, so to speak. He's driving forward, and a lot of times what a driver will do, they'll start to drive in their mirror and try to block, and that will slow them down. Right now, it looks like he's been staying on his choice lines the whole time.
And sitting back there waiting for these two guys to get together is Todd LeDuc. He's just saying to himself, you guys make one mistake, I'm coming in. And Todd LeDuc almost made a mistake.
He did make a bit of a mistake. He drove it in hard, trying to get the line. Look at him going to the inside again. He loses a lot of momentum going to those inside lines, and also having to keep from contact there with Ricky Johnson. He's got to keep it together, not able to drive.
Oh, baby.
I was going to say, you're not able to drive it in as hard on the inside, but Todd doesn't seem to care.
Man, he drove it in there hard, hooked an edge, got it up on the bike for just a moment, was able to save it, but it cost him a lot of territory.
And with the frustrations LeDuc has had, he just wants to push and get up there. He wants to get past Ricky cleanly, or maybe not so cleanly. I know that Todd casts a lot of it onto Ricky, but Todd's no Prince Charming here either.
Yeah, he definitely takes his fair share of shots at it. That's what keeps the rivalry alive. Both of them racing hard. Here comes Ricky Johnson again, down low. But you get so much momentum when you go high off this turn and carry the speed down the hill.
Now this is a situation where Van den Heuvel has the inside line, and he throws it hard and almost throws it away. Ricky tries to keep the speed up underneath, and it's not going to work out. Now he's going to have to battle LeDuc for that second spot, but what a great effort. Van den Heuvel being challenged. He just throws it deep into the corner, almost goes off the end, and Ricky Johnson trying to carry the speed to the inside, lets it come around.
What a battle between these three guys for the win here. A great look from the Monster Energy Camp and Ricky Johnson. Now, here we go, baby. This is what we were all talking about earlier. Up high, down low, and it looks like he's going to try to take the position from Todd, and they make contact.
And what's interesting there is it just didn't look like Todd was attacking as hard as he was when he was in third place. And so Ricky gets the line around him, some contact there. I'm sure each driver will have his own opinion on it, but it looked pretty clean to tell you the truth. It looked like Ricky just had the drive from the inside.
Todd LeDuc trying to mount a comeback here to get up in second place. I don't know if these guys have enough time. This is the final lap of the race. I don't know if they're going to have enough time to close the gap on Dan Vandenheuvel, who looks like he might bring home his first win here this season.
And after being snake bit last season, like Kelly talked about, wow, what a huge breakthrough this would be. He's been on the podium, but he hasn't been on the top spot. And oh, we talk about flying it off that big jump. Vandenheuvel airing it out, seemingly just holding it wide. The front of the truck lifting a bit as the air gets underneath it. Ricky giving chase, but it's not going to be enough.
It's been a long time since Dan Vandenheuvel found the winner's circle, but he's going to do it here today. Congratulations to the Flying Dutchman who gets it done.
Great performance by Vandenheuvel. I love that he never gave up his lines. He never thought for a second so much about Ricky Johnson. Ricky gets side by side with him. Vandenheuvel just goes huge into that corner, and you gotta love it. We'll see if there's any after race nerfing or bumping there. It doesn't look like it. It seems like all is good between Vandenheuvel and Johnson.
Here's a look at where these two guys got together during the middle of the race, and if you look at it from behind, maybe the Flying Dutchman was protecting the line a little bit, but the forces, as you mentioned before, Cam, kind of send you to the outside there.
Yeah, you're forced into drifting to the outside, and Ricky getting through the whoops actually lands on top of Vandenheuvel just a bit. What a great race. I love it. The gloves are off. The boys are battling.
Alan Flugler with a career best. 4th place finish. Jerry Welchel works his way up to 5th place, so a nice comeback for him. Mark Porter in the top 10 finishes 7th there, so also a great run for him out here at the quarry. Well, they're taking the stuff off of Dan Vandenheuvel there and try and get him out so we can talk to our winner in just a moment. In the meantime, looks like Todd LeDuc and Ricky Johnson are going at it.
Then come take me out if you got a problem with it. Then go ahead. 5 times, no problem.
You T-bone
and then Pomona,
It's all over now, dude.
It's all over, okay. All right, get it on tape. No, it's all over now. Get it on tape. It's all over.
Oh, and we talk about the bad blood.
No, he rammed. Patrick, shut up. No, he ran me over the wall.
Things getting heated up here in the winner's circle, and Ricky, Todd LeDuc came over and had words for you, but I have a feeling you might even have some words back for Dan Vandenheuvel.
It's racing, man. Dan's going for his win. Obviously, he's got a spotter letting him know where I'm at because it was one spot, got pinched into the wall. That messed me up a little bit. Obviously, Todd's not happy with it. I had one spot to make a pass back. I went out as I started to slide. I'm going for a slide job. I'm letting off. We get into each other, so the LeDuc family has it out for me, and they don't like me. That's okay. I'm here to race. I'm here to win. I'm not here to, I don't want to make enemies, but I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to do the best that I can for my sponsors, for my family, for everybody. BFG gave me a great tire today. It came in late in the race. Obviously, Baldwin Racing, Baldwin Motorsports gave me a great package to come race. But you know what, though? I have to congratulate Dan. It's been a while since he won. I'm proud of him. He did a great job, and he won. He deserves it, so I'm not making any excuses. I got to go faster.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Well, and that's exactly the attitude you have to have. We'll talk to the other side of this battle here with Todd LeDuc to find out his feelings on the run.
Todd, it's been a great day for you, but you had some words for Ricky Johnson. You weren't too happy with the contact there. Tell me how you saw things.
Oh, just McCacker and I had a great race, battle back forth, didn't even touch once. And then my best friend Ricky, Pomona, Lancaster here. I don't know what I got to do. I just got to stay away from him or something. But for Rockstar, everybody else, they're stoked. We got a first and a third here, and hopefully we can continue it.
What is it about this track? It's always been a great place for you to race here in Chula Vista, and specifically this track, I know it's one of your favorites.
Oh, yeah, like last year, I used to do really well here at the Chula Vista races, and then, guys like Ricky Johnson come around, they started taking me out, but I thought for sure we could have won that race today. I lost the brakes near the end, but Skyjacker's stoked, Toyo tires, and Rockstar, awesome.
All right, thanks.
All right.
And as these guys have a look at that video, maybe he'll change his mind a little bit. It really was not that aggressive. Hey, let's go down and talk to our winner.
Obviously, a very happy Dan Vandenheuvel getting your first win of the season. How good does this feel?
This is fantastic. And it's all, besides my sponsors, all my crew. Hour and a half ago, we came out here. I was way too excited. I wanted that win so bad. I came down off the jump, full acceleration. You know what? This motor twisted that drive shaft right in half. When it did, broke the transmission in half, took all the water lines out. My crew, hour and a half, they put this thing back together to contend with the best there are in the world and put me in the winner's circle. Hats off to my crew.
We've talked about this before, but how great has this season been that you've been up here consistently in the winner's circle, battling for that top spot? What a difference from last season.
Yeah, last season, everybody said, I mean, this is my 29th year racing. Everybody said you're going to have one of those seasons. I never did till last year. Depressing, I tell you what. But again, to my crew, bounced back from the worst season ever. 28 years in the top 5. Last year I took 10th. That's terrible. Now we're going right back up to the top.
All right, congratulations. Go celebrate.
Thanks.
Awesome job. And he definitely deserved it here today. Kept himself calm, cool, and collect underneath a ton of pressure from Ricky Johnson and Todd Leduc. And how about that, man? Carl Rennezetter coming up there to congratulate him as well. That's awesome stuff. Hey, stick with us, baby. We're coming back with more Pro 2 action with the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series. Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, the world's leader in automotive and high-performance lubricants. Welcome back to the quarry here at Chula Vista, California. You're watching Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing, and we just finished one round of that Pro 2 division. Dan Vanden Heuvel back in the winner's circle for the first time since Topeka in 2005, and what a special win for him, no doubt about it. But the action behind him, man, it was hot and heavy.
I definitely love that Vanden Heuvel could get it to the winner's circle after a couple years, but what I really love is the friction developing between RJ and Todd Leduc. There's no love lost here. Todd Leduc is definitely a little bit hot under the collar. He says RJ's out to get him. RJ's out to get wins. This is what it's all about. A little bit of rubbing and lots of racing.
Those guys are going at it big time, no doubt about it. And that's a battle that's been lingering now for a little over a year. So now with more on this battle, we're going to send it down to Kelly Stavis, who's with Ricky Johnson.
Well, Ken, there was so much great action in the Pro 2 race yesterday, but the guy who seemed to be in the middle of it all was Ricky Johnson. Now, Ricky, let's talk about it. It was you and Dan racing for first, and at one point, Todd Leduc was in the mix. Do you race him any differently than you do any other guy out there?
Honestly, he's a moving chicane just like everybody else. He's an obstacle. He's a jump. I did a slide job on him. He didn't like it. I love the whole Leduc family. I think they're great drivers, but you know what? We're all here to win, so could be some bumping.
He started playing second fiddle. We'll have to see if he can get that top spot today.
Bringing home the bacon in day number 1 here in Chula Vista, Todd Leduc, and bringing home a win in the Cup race and a top 3 in the points race. You got to feel pretty solid about that.
Yeah, we had a great day. We dominated the first race with McCachran, and then my buddy RJ ran me into the wall, and you know, it's risky to try to get him, but you know, it was my fault. My brakes went yesterday, and I shouldn't have been there. I should have been ahead of him running away with it, but today we're going to try to run hard. Carl and I are the 2 quickest guys, and it's going to be a good battle between him and I.
We'll see. Qualified well, see if we can get it back up on the box. Todd Leduc bringing it.
Here's a look at our Pro Comp starting grid. Carl Rennezetter finds himself on the pole. Todd Leduc on the outside. They did not invert anybody here. They drew a 0.
Well, I think that's very interesting and something to point out. Jerry Welchel started in the back in the last round, was able to get to the top 5 with his points lead. He needed to do that. Now he's up in the mix. Rob McCachran is back. And we're talking about track changes. We're moving the lines around and making it so there's different lanes of racing. Turn number 2, there has been a pretty drastic change. We'll see if it works out to help for the guys looking for passes to that inside, making the guys on the outside go outside and drift back inside.
This is the big ski jump that at speed they'll be sailing the better part of 80 or 90 feet, and as you can see, they're getting a little bit of mud from the pace truck even.
Yeah, that's not cool. Already getting our cameras all dirty. And Pfluger, best ever finish in the top 5. He qualified 8th. Now, he hasn't been great at qualifying. I think he's been good at racing. He's a racer's racer. He knows where to put it. And speaking of knowing where to put it, Jerry Welchel, qualifying 3rd, having some problems this weekend with an engine in qualifying. And the starter telling him, hold your pace, and we got some green.
Contact in the back. It looked like Pfluger and Porter got together.
Actually, I think it was the blue truck. I think it was Jones and Porter, who we saw get together in the first round as well. So we'll see. It looks like Welchel has a little bit of a step out there right in the first corner and kind of has to reset himself. Todd Leduc, seeing if he can make this line work from the inside. Rennezetter goes outside in.
Maintains the position as they go side by side up here, the highest part of the track.
And that outside berm has been the fast line, but you can see there was a lot of loose dirt up there on that. But Carl makes it work. Leduc not giving any space, looking at that outside coming into this next turn.
looking shot there, and of course, keep in mind, Carl Rennesetter not able to finish the previous round as he had some mechanical failures, but it looks like that Nissan, that Lucas Oil-backed machine, is back in form here today.
And they've got Rob McCachran sitting in third place. You can see conditions still similar. The track, greasy, sliding around on it. So Rob going from outside to in, just sliding across, but keeping the momentum, not lifting. But what's interesting there is Leduc just has a bit of a buffer with McCachran, and Leduc comes around and right into McCachran. And while they're locked up.
And what a shame. I mean, it just looked like he got in some, you can see all the mud down there, by the way. I mean, it just looks like he got into some wet stuff, some sloppy stuff, over-rotated the truck, and he's done.
And the results of that coming together looks like possibly a flat tire is the damage. That puts Leduc out. But right now, Rennesetter, the benefactor there, that's going to put Ricky Johnson right in the second position. We'll see if he can make it work when we come back to Championship Off-Road Racing.
Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. And Carl Rennesetter hoping to change his luck here a bit as he had a DNF in the previous round, but now is working his way back in here. Two tough rounds going back to Antelope Valley and then the first round here at Chula Vista, but now finds himself back out front. On the other hand, this is who they're all chasing in the points. That is Jerry Welch. Look how loose he rides in that truck. I mean, he's a guy that has a seat that looks a little different and just kind of flops around inside. You can see his whole body coming out of that seat.
You do, and he sets on top of the wheel quite a bit, just the driving style Jerry Welch likes to run with. And right now, things have been going well for Jerry. You see him sliding around. It looks like the track's coming in a bit. It doesn't look as slippery as it has been. I mean, literally, it's been like a slip and slide covered with Crisco cooking grease. I mean, people all over the place and into each other, but maybe it's starting to come in. You see breaking down a little bit of dust and maybe some traction there, so we'll see if that plays into the battle here.
Dan Vandenheuvel right behind him, of course, won the previous round. The number 77 truck looking strong again. He has a lot of confidence. That's what one of those wins will do for you. You just come out here knowing you can run with anybody.
And this section is where it's seemingly been the most slippery, coming around here on the final turn into the front straight.
Yeah, there's a lot of blue groove there, and there's not much of a cushion. If you get into the cushion, you're basically into the wall. So it is a fine line as they look for traction. And problems for Rob McCachran. We saw him get into Todd Leduc. Actually, Todd Leduc got into him, and it looks like both of them will DNF here.
And it looks like a failure on that left front suspension. That's where the contact was made. And we have the full course yellow. So now Rennesetter in front, but they are getting them all together, bringing them close.
Yeah, this is going to close everybody up here. Ricky Johnson right behind him. Ricky Johnson letting him know, hey, I'm right here, baby. I'm ready to go racing. Come on back. Let's find out who wins this thing. CORR is brought to you by ProComp Suspensions. Suspension systems that work. It's the restart here in the Pro 2 race. Carl Rennesetter out front. Ricky Johnson in second place right behind him. Jerry Welchel in third place and up on the wheel, baby.
And you saw two tactics there by Jerry Welchel. He's in a straight line. He had a moment. He went for the wipe with his gloves so as not to waste the tear off for a spot of mud that just filled right in the center of his vision. He elects to go back to the tear off. So someone's upside down.
Dan Vandenheuvel got a huge run off that hill, overdrove the turn and right into the side of Ricky Johnson, flipped the truck completely over, and as you can see, a little bit of fire brewing as well.
And that's normally tranny fluid just coming out of the overflow. Not a huge issue, but still scary. Nonetheless, you see it coming with the fire extinguishers, and I'm imagining they're gonna right this truck and Dan will be able to get going again, but this will bring out the full course yellow. And it involved Ricky Johnson. We'll have to get another look at it. Vandenheuvel just going huge to the inside. Went to use Ricky Johnson as his berm, and Ricky's been used as a berm before, you know, or used people as a berm, being a 7-time AMA Supercross and Motocross champion. Vandenheuvel basically just throwing himself away there.
I mean, could you make that move? Yes, if nobody else is in the turn. He did do that in the previous round and got away with it, but you can't do it when there's two other trucks already in the turn.
And one thing it definitely looks like when Vandenheuvel gets in there hot, he's on the brakes. And it looks like the wheels or tires are stopped. And when that happens, it's always the aggressor that gets out of there okay. But in that case, when he came together with Ricky, Ricky's on the gas, so Ricky's truck slides out, but when they hit, it looks like the wheel just sticks to the ground and Vanden Heuvel starts flipping.
And it looks like Welch was saying to RJ, hey man, that's my spot, move back. We spoke to him earlier.
Well, it's a 10-year-old truck that was built by Scott Taylor about 1996 or 7. Anyways, he's won 6 championships in it, and for some reason, since I bought it, I've won a couple races, so they think there's some magic with this truck. It's just an old truck that's a good, reliable truck, but most trucks are 50-50 on the weight bias. This truck, they're making it be 52% on the front and 48 on the rear. So this thing drives off the back wheels, so they want my back wheels to be lighter than everybody else's, and it's a disadvantage. This is the heaviest truck out here. I don't have as big a motor as I could have in there. Next race at Texas and Vegas, we're gonna put the Leon Patton motor back in there, and we're gonna come out with a strong finish this year. Last year we had some breakdowns at the end of the year, lost the championship just in the last 2 races, but we've held it all year long this year, and we plan on having it at the end of the year also.
And it looks like they're going to pull away Dan Vanden Heuvel. We saw him have issues before. You know, on the backside of that story, he is running a smaller engine. He talks about it being the heaviest truck out there. When you run the smaller engine, you can be a lighter truck, but those guys can't get the weight out of that old truck and still keep the bias as they are regulated to keep it. So he's forced to run heavy with a smaller engine when they have engine problems. Back to the restart here. Carl Rennezetter out front. Right behind him, RJ, and then Jerry Welchel. RJ did keep the position.
And RJ lift just a little bit there to keep from getting into Rennezetter. We'll see how they handle it when we come back to Championship Off-Road Racing.
Championship Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. The restart has been completed. Take a look at Rodrigo Ampudia, and they're fighting with these guys up at the top, but it is Carl Rennezetter, Ricky Johnson in second, and Jerry Welchel in third. Who is your points leader coming in?
And Ampudia having a good run here. Normally the pro light driver we've been talking about, but putting together, getting some pressure from Greg Adler in the 4-wheel parts wholesaler truck. But right now, Rennezetter, the class of the field. And you talked about Welchel. We should point out that he's had great success when he has the smaller power plants in there, a little more torquey, coming from Dugan's engines. And those guys, Ray over there does a great job. So he's got 2 different builders, 2 different styles, and both have been working to the advantage. But I've been hearing a lot about this 900 horsepower Patton engine that's coming soon.
Great look at the Lucas Oil backed Nissan Titan. As we go back to Jerry Welchel, who has yet to finish out of the top 5 all year long.
And Adler looking to the inside on Ampudia, working that roller section, then falling back into line. We'll see if Adler can make something work here, and you can see Ampudia moving around the track. It's kind of a moving target, but both carrying great speed, and both drivers have been looking great all weekend.
Greg Adler's really had a spectacular season. Racing with a broken foot, we might add, and it's been broken for a little while, but he's gotten pretty used to it. He might want to continue racing with that cast on that foot.
Yeah, maybe it's working for him, a little bit of a good luck charm, and I'm not sure if this guy's got the rabbit foot hanging in there or not, but he's got the good luck charm back in the front seat with him right now with 2 to go. I don't want to jinx him, but it's looking very good for Rennezetter.
Carl's last win came here in Chula Vista. He actually had a spectacular weekend here. Alan Pfluger on board with him, finished 4th in the previous round, hanging around right there in 6th place, looking for another top 5.
That'd be a great weekend for him as the white flag comes out. It doesn't look like there's anything RJ's gonna be able to do, but look, we got trucks getting squirrely.
Travis Coyne back there sashaying around pretty hardcore.
As well as Adler. Looks like Ampudia might get a drive around this outside. We've been talking about how it's been good to carry momentum there, but he steps it out just a little bit. But here he comes, diving inside, and he fills the line. He fills the line on him. It's like a block pass in Supercross. He comes up and checks on Coyne and almost loses the spot to Adler.
What a tough break for Travis Coyne, who has absolutely been snake bit in the Pro 2 category. He's been spectacular in Pro 4, but in Pro 2 has just had nothing but bad luck. And here comes Rodrigo Ampudia again. Out here getting it done with the Pro 2, first time ever in his career, making it happen this weekend.
And Adler holding it on over that big jump. You saw the front end drift up, but it looks like Ampudia is going to keep the line.
The checkered flag going to the Lucas Oil-sponsored Nissan Titan. Carl Rennezetter gets it done. Win number 25 in the category, win number 55 in his career. And he's making a run at a three-peat in the championship. We'll go back to Alan Pfluger, and it looks like he's going to bring home 6th place just out of that top 5. Stick with us. We'll talk to our winners when we come back to Championship Off-Road Racing. Welcome back to the Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing Series, and the reigning champion Pro 2, Carl Rennezetter, brings home a win. Now we're going to go back and show you our Skyjacker shock of the race.
It's got to be Dan Vannon, who will dive into the inside and going side to side with Ricky Johnson, and then going for the barrel roll.
Yeah, he just got in there a little bit too hot, man. He could smell back-to-back wins, but it wasn't going to happen in the process. He got into it with Ricky Johnson as well and almost ended Ricky's day.
And he gets a solid 10 for the dismount.
Let's go down to Kelly.
Well, Carl, we've seen a lot of you in the winner's circle, but really this is only your 2nd win of the season, and with the problems you've had lately in Pro 2, this has got to feel pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I'm telling you, it's tough for me to come here and be on the pole twice and have a day like I did yesterday, but this Lucas Oil Nissan Titan team was just unbelievable, smoking hot, and it's tough out there. There's a lot of guys out there that want to knock me off my podium, so today I qualified on the pole, drew a 0 on the invert. The team is awesome. Everything's great. We were on today.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Here's a look at the official results. Carl Rennezetter on top, then followed by Ricky Johnson, Jerry Welchel, Rodrigo and Pudia in 4th place. Are you kidding me? And Greg Adler rounds out the top 5. Let's go to Kelly.
Ricky, you told me you're tired of playing second fiddle, but here you are again. Did you think you were going to get Carl at any point?
I was trying a lot of different lines. Kevin Pence was telling me everything, so I was trying high, trying low. I'd gain a little bit, I'd lose a little bit. Carl was really fast yesterday, really fast today, and I don't think I had anything for him. I was hoping to get up and get a shot at him, but Dan Vanderhoof took a big-ass shot at me and spun me clean around. I don't know if he missed his brake pedal or what, but, man, he clobbered me hard. And after that, my steering was a little bit tight because when you smack a car around that hard, it messes up the servos. But you know what, though? Everything was great. BFG gave me an awesome tire. It lasted. We had blue groove. We had ruts. We had everything today. So, between all that, KMC wheels, and also sway-way suspension, we're 2nd again, but we are creeping up on that championship. I'll see you in Texas.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Ricky Johnson now with 6 podiums this season. A guy that has 5 podiums, but more important is the points leader, and that's Jerry Welchel.
Well, Jerry, I know you've got your eye on that championship. Last year you came so close. What is your strategy at this point? Are you content being up here on the podium, or are you still shooting for number 1?
Well, I'm content being on the podium this weekend just because we had to put our smaller motor in there for this weekend. But no, I'm always fighting for number 1. We're going to have our big motor in for the last 2 races of the year, and we're going to finish strong. I mean, I should have a pretty decent point lead now, so Monster Energy Drink, BFG, and KMC, we're really proud of all those guys, and my guys too, man. They stayed up all night, a couple nights in a row working on this truck, so I'm really proud of them and really proud of the truck.
All right, thanks, Jerry.
All right, thank you.
And Jerry Welchel doing what he has to do to stay on top of that points list. It's all about the championship at the end of the year. He'll go out of here with 130 points. Ricky Johnson, 113 points. So a nice lead for Jerry Welchel. Carl Rennezetter jumping now into the top 3, but it's Rob McCachran, who had a devastating weekend, and it definitely hurt him.
We went from a 0 to 0 in one weekend. We came out of Antelope with tons of success, close to Jerry Welchel for the points coming into this event, but I know we lost a lot of ground to him. So we got our work cut out for us.
Well, I'm going about championship off-road racing the same way I went about motocross. Be aggressive, take the chance of getting the rough calls, and try to win every weekend.
Well, I'll tell you, yesterday's racing, the Pro 2 race especially, was spectacular. You're not only seeing the crowds pick up, but the quality of the racing. It's with some of the new drivers, but it's also some of the existing drivers. And it used to be the older, more experienced drivers could kind of intimidate the younger drivers, so the older drivers could take advantage of them on the lines. That's not happening anymore. The young guys are holding their lines, and it's getting even more exciting.
Make sure you stay with us when we come back to Chula Vista. It'll be with the Pro 4 category, and those guys will leave nothing on the table. For Kelly Stavis and Cameron Steele, I'm Ken Stout. We'll see you next time with Lucas Oil Championship Off-Road Racing.
One of the things that we changed was the air clearance. The motor builder, Bill Sleeper from Pope. Well, this piece of I mean, we threw everything at him with the kitchen sink. Let me try that one more time.
Wow, reminiscent of a year ago.
Yeah, once again, here we are. Shut up, Ken.